What's up, everybody? Have you ever had some expectations that were not fulfilled when you got your RC car? Well, we got one right here, and it kind of blew away expectations. I thought I knew what I was getting because it's similar to these two FMS FCX10s, but boom. So, why don't we do some running video right away, and I'll show you what it can do, and I'll explain to you while we're running what is going on, and then come back to me. I'm going to compare it to the two previous FCX10 models, this Land Rover Range Rover right here, and then I'm going to get some Traxxas vehicles, some different Land Rovers, and kind of show you the scale sizing of this thing. All right, here we go on a forest trail crawl on our favorite park. If you are local San Jose Bay Area, message me and I'll tell you where this place is. And really cool because there's creek crossings and it always changes shape depending on how much rain we're getting. And right there, so we're gonna dunk these tires in right from the get-go. And then boom, boom, boom. So the tires are vented at the wheels, so they will get into the rims, the water wheel, and it's not that easy to clear. You gotta squeeze the tires, and boom, right there. We knew we were gonna have a good day because those were big rocks, and this thing will just kind of slide its way up. The front bumper is massive, but it's got good underside clearance. The 2-speed transmission is really essential to this guy because everything is being done here in first gear. Motor not very torquey. Oh, let's pay attention to this section. This is one of the hardest sections we have, and the roots are exposed, and it was able to do it. Combination of second gear, a little bump and run. So pretty darn impressed, and it's a big body. It fit through those rocks. Steering is quite good, 45-degree steering angle. When you're on a very high traction surface, steering radius is kind of big, but if you are in the forest where the tires slip, the lock diffs don't get in the way, you can make some pretty tight turns. And then boom, right there. Look at it's just gorgeous how this thing kind of moves and sways and doesn't tip over. Can handle the water. And a few folks have commented that tires are really soft. Tires are really soft. So good. Let me tell you, soft tires doesn't make a good tire. It has to be grippy. So soft and grippy is essential, and that's what these guys have. And what's really cool is these tires are 4.2 inch, so class 1. The previous FMS FCX10s had, class 2 tires, 4.7, and this is not giving anything up in performance. It's kind of an enigma. Test driver thought we were running portals the whole time because it was getting through these rocks and obstructions, but these are actually straight axles, so all the more scale. But you could see how the suspension, the wheels extend down and reach down very seamlessly. They tuck into the wheel wells perfectly. I think that's one advantage of smaller tires. There's no hang up whatsoever, and it's got enough on the kind of slow speed control. And then here we go, second gear, boom. Not gonna break any records, maybe 7-8 miles an hour. A little slow-mo there. Look at those hits. So even though the shock oil is very heavy on this guy, it still responds quite well. I mean, the lights are just stunning for sure. And it's not just yellow lenses on these lights, on the headlights, but you know, the LED light is actually a little bit amber as well, so it's more realistic than just painting the lens covers. And notice that the tail lights are always on. When we got it stock, they would only go on when you backed up or when you braked, and that's not really, you want them on all the time. You know, you're doing this for visibility. And here is the craziest line that we have, so tight. It was able to position itself, and now look at that rock on the right rear, and then it just made a bump and made it over. That was really impressive. Okay, and then here's a pretty steep descent that's kind of sideways, and it was able to do it no problem. And we are going to get this thing in the water. So it's a brush motor, not necessarily waterproof, maybe a little bit of water resistance. The water is clear at least. The ESC and the receiver are being dumped, I'm fairly certain, right here, because right here it's gonna go swimming and float, but never a glitch. Lights never flickered. Look at that, it's just swimming right there, floating, and it was able to do it. So pretty cool, right guys? $389 for this model with a body that is this gorgeous. What can we change on it? Maybe some wheel weights. I think that the tires on these had water, so it got heavier and it helped this whole setup. And then right here, our driver got a little too confident. There's nobody to catch this, and there's a cliff into the water. But nice modulation, boom. But there's a little hole there, and as soon as it went over. But no scratches, no damage. I think the cage protects it. So hang on. We'll put in a better radio for this guy. Maybe a better servo, but certainly a better motor. See what it can do. And here's what I'm talking about, where it doesn't want to tip over. How is this possible, right? Where it's so heavy, top heavy. But what it is just a balanced suspension geometry with good damping. You got that part right, huh? Links in the description, guys. All right, what did you think? I was so impressed. When I unboxed it, I go, man, this thing is so pretty. It's got so much quality. It's a $150 body. In fact, they sell it separately, but it's all sold out. And it's got some nice Class 1 tires that are so, not just soft, but they are grippy. Nice design and grippy. So what we have is a new FMS FCX10, and there's 3 versions of it. The Defender, and then the Discovery, and then the Range Rover. My Range Rover right here. I never had a Range Rover. I always get the Defender. But man, I'm so curious, because that's kind of what you see on all those Camel Trophy videos. And it is a very nice rendition of this Range Rover for sure. It's a little big, but we'll get to that in a second. So it shares the same platform as the previous FCX10s. Same wheelbase, about 12.6-inch wheelbase, but it's a simplified version. So instead of having like 8 channels, 10 channels, they just said no more locking diff, no dig, no two-wheel drive. It's just a 4-wheel drive locked system with 2-speed transmission and some nice lights. And man, talk about the prettiest lights I've ever seen. So really cool. Nice clear glass on this thing. Huge windows. Got a driver painted interior. Got a sunroof, moonroof, and then really cool bumpers. And as you can see on the running video, that's why, you know, it looks like a huge bumper, but it's actually got some really good clearance, some good kind of approach angles on this thing. There's not a lot of material there. So good steering, not the fastest servo. It's got a 2-speed transmission. It's not the strongest brushed motor that I've seen. Maybe a little lacking in torque, but it has 2-speed transmission. And It is the quietest, perhaps the quietest drivetrain that I've ever seen. Oh, look at that. I'm getting some of that creek water on my table because that's where I ran it. You can't even hear it. It's so crazy. So 2-speed. And then, so where it came from was, this was the first one. This was the Chevy Blazer. And when this came out, this was $449, I believe. It had locking diffs for two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, and now it's $419. So you can still buy this $419 if you want all the gizmos. But the body wasn't quite right. It was not proportioned right. These tires just did not perform, and it had portal axle, so it was a little bit confused. Oh, these shocks are not so good either. And then 2 versions of the Land Cruiser came out, and this guy is the brushed version, has straight axles. Initially, they had a brushless with portals, and I think this one was more popular, better livery, and the brushless was just not that powerful. So anyway, I'm going to cover my face. Here it is. So it is even bigger than the Land Cruiser because it's just so long with the bumpers sticking out like that. Get more for your money. But if you're into the scale, you might be a little bit upset that it's so big. And here it is compared to the Chevy Blazer. So really cool. This is one of the nicest bodies that I've seen. Okay, so I'm gonna put this here, and then how is it different? How it's different is like less is more, right? On the functions, but also the tires are much better. They're a Class 1 tire, so much more scale looking, but they tuck in the body so neatly. The suspension is so dialed. It's got some heavy shock oil, perfect damping, and that's why it doesn't tip over. Even though it's so top heavy, they said there's a way to turn off the turn signals, but I haven't been able to dig it up and make it work. And the mounting system on the body has changed as well. Okay. Oh, look at that sag. Look at that sag. Beautiful wheels and tires. You got these covers here. So this one was problematic on how to open it. They're all clipless, which is cool, but this is version 3, so now it's working good. It's easy twist. It's got a push system. Boom. It's got 2 prongs to find itself. And then something cool is this thing is floating. It's got a spring too, so it ensures proper contact because it can get the perfect height. Boom, hit the magnet, have that spring, so it'll release when needed, and and that's the key to the wireless lighting system. Oh, this bad boy did not have lights. That's not cool. These lights are awesome. So there you go, folding mirrors. And it's got some cables that you could attach here, make it realistic. Okay, how else is it different from the previous one? So this one is straight axle, non-portal. The drivetrain is much improved. It is so quiet, and I think I just showed you guys, but it's just mind-blowing. I've tested a lot of cars and crawlers. I've never seen a drivetrain this quiet. I don't know what kind of voodoo magic they did. So let me put this back and show you how it compares to the Traxxas, the Defender, since that is the kind of the standard, kind of my first foray into crawlers. So check this out. This is how easy it is to put this body on. It kind of finds itself. Oh, it lit up. That's so cool. And then boom, and you are in. It is like foolproof. Now, you could really load this thing up, but the dynamics on this thing, so cool. It's like my D1 RC, and I'll show you that in a second on how it doesn't really want to flip. It's just so stable, just like the real scale Range Rover. Okay, so here is my D1 RC. So D1 RC is a company from China that makes ultra scale vehicles. So there is a much smaller. This is 10 scale as well, but it has like a 10.6 inch wheelbase, 12.6 inch wheelbase on this. but you know, it's kind of has the same. You know, it doesn't embarrass itself next to the D1RC, but it's much bigger too. Okay, and the last one I'll show you is the Traxxas. So Traxxas. Sorry, I don't have tires right now on it, but boom, there it is. So you could kind of judge it by the length. This Range Rover is longer, and the size of the windows and the rack. So quite a bit bigger than the Traxxas. Maybe more like ninth scale, right? So there you go, my friend. So we will have links in the description. On the running, it was amazing. It was just amazing. I was so impressed with how it ran. I am so curious with more torque on the motor, how it's gonna perform. So I'm gonna upgrade that to either first a brush motor that has, you know, maybe a Holmes, and then a brushless motor, and see how it performs. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe load it up on the top, maybe put some wheel weights on it. And you just don't want to do too much. This is not gonna climb the walls, but we're gonna do some magic with this thing. Maybe change the radio while we're at it. See what we can do. Oh, a sound unit would be so cool. All the links will be in the description. FMS is still available. 3 different Land Rovers that they have, and we will have a coupon code, I believe. You know, some 5% off, 6% off, and then D1RC will have that. I'll link that up. The Traxxas, link that up, and then the other 2 FMS FCX10s.